Do you want to share more about legacy interviews, how it came about and what it is?
Sure. The legacy interview started because I had a listener to my podcast say, "Hey, I've been listening to you for years. I've got a book I'd like to drop off with you." And I said, "Sure." So he stops by and he has his 6-year-old son with him. And as soon as his son hears my voice, his eyes get really big and he's like, "You're the guy on the radio." And so I
Oh,
was like, "Oh, you listen to the podcast with your dad. Would you like to do an interview?" Well, this kid couldn't get past me fast enough. He's like already walking in before his dad even says he can. We go down. At the time, my studio was in my basement. I turn on the lights and cameras. There he is sitting in the chair. His legs are dangling off the chair because he's only 6, right?
yeah.
And I ask him questions. What do you think your dad does all day at work? And, what food do you wish mom let you eat more of? Or who's your
Oh,
best friend?
yeah.
And this kid is like leaning forward. He's super into it, like he's on Meet the Press. We get all done with the interview and I package it up and I send it to his dad and I say, play it for him sometime, like it's an episode on the podcast. And the dad called me up a few weeks later and he said, Vance, I just have to tell you, the other day I was at a party and we were playing this game and a question came up. If your house were on fire and you could only grab one thing, what would it be? He was like, I knew instantly it was the interview you did with my son. And he's like, I've been thinking about this for a little while. And I think it's because, one, if I had asked him those questions, he might not have answered them in the same way. I'm his dad.
Yeah.
And two, I can't go back and get it again. He's not going to be that age again. He's like, I don't know what you should do with this, but you should do something. I went out on my podcast and I was like, hey, it's a few weeks before Christmas. If anybody wants me to interview your loved ones as a Christmas present, let me know. I was expecting to get just 2 or 3. I got so many I couldn't get them all done. And that's when I realized now I get to do my favorite thing in the world, which is talk deeply with people. And I get to help them be able to preserve and record their family history. So when their children or grandchildren are at that point in their lives when they're like, I really wish I knew the stories of my grandmother, or I really wish I knew how my dad thought about these things, they can go back and watch these videos. And it's been a really profound thing to do over the last 5 years.